Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services, if we can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Thank you.
Esainai el heharim me'ain yavo Ezri Me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim va'aretz Al yitein lamot raglecha Al yanum shomrecha Hine lo yamun velo yishan shomer Yisrael Adonai shomerecha Adonai tzilecha al yad yeminecha Yomam Hashemesh lo yakeka v'yareich malayla Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra ישמור את נפשך, ישמור את נפשך, אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם.
There is a Jewish tradition that says that someone who dies on or right before Rosh Hashanah is one of the world's tzaddikim, one of the world's most righteous people, as it was their presence, the way they lived their lives, the example they set, the way they loved their loved ones and those around them that was most deeply needed throughout the entire year that has now passed. Although this does not make it any easier to move into this new year without them. And so this morning, as we come together to honor Nikki's life, to celebrate the love she shared so freely, and to reflect on the memory of being held in her care, we recognize the magnitude of what it means to lose a mother, a mom, a friend, and we seek to figure out how to take the love that Nikki had for so many people and continue to allow it to shine brightly into a world in desperate need of it. We extend our deepest condolences to Nikki's children, to Tammy and Drew, to Neil and Tori, Elisa and Steve, and to her grandchildren, Brandon, Mira, Arthur, Nora, Braden, and Owen, to her extended family and friends, and to all those whose lives she touched so deeply with her own. And it is in these moments when words fail us that we turn to the timeless message of the Psalms that bring us a reminder of God's nearness and of the strength of the bonds of love that unite us in life and continue on in the tender and more gentler world of spirit and memory, thereby linking Nikki's life with thousands of years of tradition and family.
I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian. Adonai is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm. God will guard your life. Adonai will guard your going and coming, now and forever. Those familiar words of Psalm 23. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside still waters, and restores my soul. You lead me in right paths for the sake of your name. Even when I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You have set a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever.
And from the book of Proverbs, Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. A woman of valor who can find? She is more precious than fine pearls. Her family trusts in her, and they lack nothing. She does them good, never harm, all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need, extends her hands to the poor. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom, the law of kindness on her lips. Her children rise up and bless her. Her family sings her praises. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you have excelled them all. The liturgy of this High Holy Day season speaks so often of the book of life and how that book is open and closed, reviewed and considered, bearing the imprint of each person who lived. And we are reminded of what it means, the power inherent in being the author of our own book of life, how we move through times of adversity, how we share our gifts with the world, how deeply we love those around us, and how we use the time we have to the fullest. And as I met with Nikki's children on Friday, the very first thing they shared was what an extraordinary life their mother had lived, and what a magnificent story, what an incredible legacy of strength and love and light that she leaves behind for all of us. We will hear from a couple of Nikki's family members in a few moments, as it is clear that there are so many memories and stories to share this morning and in the days to come. But when I asked Tammy, Neil, and Elisa what they would most want people to know about their mom, they shared how vibrant she was, even while overcoming every life adversity. Nikki came to the United States from Israel at age 14, not knowing any English, but thrived at Trenton High School and went on to college. She lost her father and sister, whom she had cared for, months apart right after her wedding. And then she also became a caregiver for her mother, who had 2 heart attacks after that from all the stress and grief. Nikki's heart and home, I'm told, were open to anyone and everyone, and she was always there for people, her family, friends, people she had just met. Even after surviving cancer and brain surgery and spine surgery, she would always think about those who had it worse and would look for ways to help others. Even while in rehab, I'm told, she met people who had suffered injuries and illnesses, becoming a sounding board to them, a therapist of sorts. Nikki had actually always wanted to be a social worker and had gone to college to major in sociology. But for Nikki, family always came first, and as her children shared, she was born to be a mom. It was her calling. And she so wanted to watch her grandchildren grow up. She wanted to know who and what they would become. Family was everything to her. And it was her kids and grandkids that kept her going, as she always wanted to spend more time with them. As a mom, she would take her children to dance recitals and sporting events, always being there for them and cheering them on. Not an easy feat with 3 children. As Elisa shared, we were late to everything, but we were there. As Tammy added, she always let us be the people we were. She supported us, stood up for us, and recognized the importance of our own mental health, teaching us that who we were as individuals was special. She never tried to change us or push us to be someone we were not. As all of her children shared, Nikki sacrificed a lot in her life for her children, her own personal desires often taking a back seat. Neil recalled that in her 40s or 50s, his mom had gone back to school, and he remembers standing in line for movie tickets with his mom as she reviewed her note cards for her statistics class, and the times he would find her sitting up in bed at night, sound asleep after studying. But if asked if she could go back and do it all again, Nikki wouldn't have done it any differently. She was someone who always gave you her full attention and made fun out of everything, whether it was celebrating her children's birthdays, tutoring her grandson for his bar mitzvah in Israel, or making a mess of the styrofoam popcorn packing stuffing so her grandchildren could pretend it was snowing and make snow angels inside. Neil also shared that their mom never raised her voice, and if she came close to doing so, you knew it was serious, and you just stopped doing whatever it was you were doing. As Elisa added, she was the strongest, kindest, funniest, even when she wasn't trying to be, most patient, loving, and understanding person. She welcomed everyone with open arms. And as her family shared, she was strong without having to project strength. She was resilient and showed such positivity throughout all she faced that it bordered on impracticability. She was also someone who you could depend on to give great advice, and she was a calming presence. She was able to just make you feel better by being there with you. As Elisa shared, I just want to call her right now so she could tell me how to get through this time. Our tradition teaches that while death ends a life, it does not end a relationship, and the love we share continues on, just as we remain connected to those we love in so many ways. There is a reading in one of our prayer books that says, "Let us treasure the time we have and resolve to use it well, counting every moment precious, a chance to apprehend some truth, to experience some beauty, to conquer some evil, to relieve some suffering, to love and be loved, to achieve something of lasting worth. Help us, O God, to fulfill the promise that is in each of us, and so too to conduct ourselves that generations hence it will be true to say of us, the world is better because for a brief space they lived in it. This morning we know that that is absolutely true to say of Nikki. Zichrona livracha, may her memory always be for a blessing." In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember her. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember her. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember her. So long as we live, she too shall live, for she is now a part of us as we remember her. We call upon our first speaker from the family, Addie Nikki's cousin, to share a few remarks.
There are so many things I could say. I had to write a few things down just so that I would be able to share these with you. Nikki and I are first cousins. Our mothers were sisters. We're second-generation Holocaust survivors. And we grew up with the stories. All the stories of those that never made it through the Holocaust, and all the heroics of those who somehow survived. And through those stories, we learned the core of the most important things of true binding, love, and commitment to family in good times and in bad times. My mother spoke of your grandmother with reverence, her strength and beauty and wisdom that saved my mother's life, both during the war and after. And your mother, like her, was beautiful, wise, and strong. My earliest memory as a 4-year-old is waking up on the porch in my parents' house in Tel Aviv, and someone both strange and familiar looking at me. It was your mother. She missed Israel and family so much that she flew to Israel in those days at the age of 14 all by herself because she wanted to see us again. I can still see her in my memory, the stories of her and her younger sister Tammy running the 2 blocks from our house in small town Tel Aviv to come and bathe and care for my brother Danny and I, her baby cousins. We were always her baby cousins, and that memory has stayed with me. So when we came to live in America when I was 6.5 years old, it was to the loving arms of your grandparents, your mother and Tammy, Zichronah Livracha. I don't remember much between then and when we came back, my husband and I, Doron, to America in 1984. Nikki had been in Israel. There were pictures, there were stories, but I don't remember much. But when we came back in 1984, as a young married couple, it was as if we had never left the thread of family, loving, helping, caring for each other, ever present. Whenever I needed to talk, I needed somebody to listen, to hear me, to give me advice. Nikki heard me, always, kind and wise. And whenever I was aching because of all of her troubles, and I would say so, her answer was, I am the luckiest person there is. I have the best 3 children in the world. The best 3 children in the world. That is who she is, the kindest, most caring and loving person. And she will forever be with me.
We now call upon Nikki's son, Neil.
My sisters asked me to be the one to come up here today. I think because I have the most experience with public speaking, but also because I think they recognize that I'm better than them at everything. I won't just stand up here, and some of this may be repeated from what you heard the rabbi say, but I won't just stand up here and give you biographical details, but I will share some, because as Rabbi Frankel said, they're extraordinary and important to understanding who my mom was. When she was 12, she was taken away from Israel. When she was a girl, she was taken away from Israel. 12 or 14, that's up in the air. The only home she'd ever known, and moved to an entirely new world, a strange, foreign, exotic land where she didn't speak the language, a place called Trenton. She learned English so well that she lost any hint of an accent, graduated high school, went away to college, got married. Not long after that, she lost her father and her younger sister, Tamara. She had a daughter, got divorced, survived cancer, married again, and was somehow convinced to move back to New Jersey, Had a son and another daughter, separated, lost her mother, survived cancer, had 6 grandchildren, was diagnosed with leukemia, survived brain surgery. She went through so much, and I haven't even mentioned the most egregious one. She had a son who, acting on impulse, shaved his head less than a month before his high school graduation, thus ruining the pictures. That may not sound like a big deal, but she brought this very specific incident up to me countless times well into my adulthood. She was a great mother, but she was a Jewish mother. I will tell you, if you hear all this and feel sorry for her, please don't. She never felt sorry for herself. She was too busy looking after everyone else. She raised 3 children practically on her own, and those 3 children have no memory of her ever raising her voice or losing patience. She took us to all of our games, dance recitals, after-school events. She'd go to PTA meetings, take us to carnivals, and wait for us to get off of every ride, even though she was terrified while we were on them. She'd take us to Ocean City and hang out on the beach with us all day, then walk around the boardwalk until dark. She did all this while taking care of her own mother. And no matter how busy she was, somehow when you were in her presence, you still felt as though you had her full, undivided attention. She had a way of making you feel like you were the only person on the planet who mattered. I'm pretty sure she never slept, yet she never seemed tired. In the mornings, on the weekends, when we slept in, she'd wake us up by singing Rise and Shine at the top of her lungs. It would resonate off the walls, but it would stir us out of bed no matter how much we wanted to stay there, because when we heard her voice, we knew we could face whatever was next, and that it would be all right. She always let us be ourselves, and she never overreacted to anything, no matter how many times she'd find out that we were out late somewhere different from where we told her we'd be, Tammy, or how many piercings we got, Elisa, or even if we came home sporting a new tattoo. I won't say who that was. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was more important to her than her children and her grandchildren. The place I remember her working the longest when I was a kid was an organization called Family Focus, aptly named since family was the focus of her entire life. Her sole ambition was to make the world better for those around her, and she understood what was truly important. She appreciated the very simple things in life. She would rather receive a homemade birthday card than the nicest, most expensive gift. There were so many times, no matter where we were or what we were doing, when I would look over at her and she had on the biggest grin, a look that told me that she was soaking everything up and that it was enough for her to just be there with the people she loved, enjoying each moment. Some moments we shared with her that I think capture who she really was. The first from her cousin Donnie, who's back home right now in Israel. When Donnie was 7, his family came to visit Mom's family in the U.S., and she hugged him like she had just found a new puppy to adopt. When he told her that he didn't know how to ride a bike, she took him out to the streets of Trenton and showed him how. He said if he could characterize her in any way, it would be to say that she had an all-encompassing heart. She was always kind, caring, and had a very gentle way of expressing everything. One that she probably wouldn't want me to share, but is one of my favorites. In 2005, I was in a car accident. Everyone was fine, but the car was totaled. Elisa was working at the Van skate park in the Moorestown Mall. Mom called her on the main number, and when Elisa answered, Mom asked if she was busy. Elisa said, "Yes, I'm at the cash register, and I've got a line out the door." And Mom replied, "Okay, your brother was in a terrible car accident. Call me back." And then she hung up. Imagine standing in line to buy a pair of sneakers, and when you finally get to the register, your cashier is crying hysterically for no apparent reason. Another one that the rabbi mentioned and Tammy shared with us just this weekend. Mom babysat her kids one night when they were little, and while Tammy was out, they received a package. Mom, or Mom as they called her, let Brandon and Mira take all the packing styrofoam out of the box and throw it everywhere. Tammy came home and was obviously upset at the mess, but the next morning, all her kids could talk about was how it was snowing inside the house. She was so creative. I remember Halloween parties where she'd blindfold us and our friends and have us put our hands in bowls of spaghetti and marbles, and she'd tell us they were brains and eyeballs. Every morning on our birthdays, we'd wake up and sit in the birthday chair that she decorated with streamers and balloons. What I remember, or more than anything, what I remember is that she always let us be ourselves, even if she didn't understand what she was getting herself into. She let Tammy stay up late when she was little because she loved listening to the theme song to Dallas. She would play whatever music we wanted to listen to in the car. I made her go through the soundtrack to the movie Stand By Me so many times she probably hated every song on it, but she never said a word. She listened to Phillies games with me during the summer, and she loved watching the Eagles, even though she never actually watched the games because she got so nervous that she'd cover her eyes the entire time. She knit scarves, gloves, and yarmulkes for her grandchildren, and she'd call or text her children just to say hi and tell us how much she loved us. She did this right up until the final week of her life. I'm going to get philosophical now. so I ask that you bear with me. There's a tradition among the Stoics to keep an object with them called a memento mori, and roughly translated, it's Latin for remember you will die. This sounds morbid, but it's not meant to be. It's a reminder that life is temporary and therefore precious. The only way to truly appreciate it is to remember how fragile it is. At moments like this, when we lose someone so important to us, can press down upon us. They can hang a pall over our lives and make each moment of each day feel heavy and laborious, but they need not. It is not that we find light through the darkness, it's that we understand that oftentimes the darkness is the light. That which is most fragile, we learn to hold with care. A person like my mom, who experienced so much loss and so much grief, understood life's fragility better than anyone. She could have given up so many times on herself, on the world, but she never did. Some of you never met her, but I wish you could have. I wish, especially in these times, that everybody could have met my mom, because they would learn what she taught me. They would all come away knowing that the kindest person they ever met was also the strongest. We each choose how we live. We don't choose whether we die. We all get called away at one point or another. When I go, I hope the voice that does the calling is hers. I hope it's singing Rise and Shine so loudly that it resonates everywhere. And then I'll know that no matter how badly I may not want to leave, that I can face whatever's next, that it'll be okay. In less than a month, it'll be my mom's birthday, and I will celebrate the way I know she would want me to. I will appreciate the simpler things. I will do some of what she loved the most. I will wake up early to watch an episode of The View. I will get a vanilla milkshake at McDonald's. I will talk to my kids and make sure they know that I love them. I'm not going to watch The View. I don't know why I said that part. But most of all, I will do what she did best. I will take the darkness and I will turn it into light. And through that light, there I know she will be, talking to me and laughing and smiling again, waiting for me to get off the ride. And I will say to her then what I say to her now. Shalom, Ima.
We continue to hold on to all of those beautiful memories. We continue to tell those stories throughout this time of Shiva and the days, the months, and years to come as her legacy continues to be built in this world. I now invite you to please rise for our memorial prayer of El Malei Rachamim.
מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה. עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע, מזהירים את נשמת נחמה בת נתן צבי ישראל מרים, שהלכה לעולמה. בעל הרחמים, יסיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים. בצרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה. ותנוח בשלום על משכבה. ונאמר אמן.
God of abundant mercy, God Most High, may the soul of our loved one who has gone into eternity find the gift of perfect peace in your embrace, together with the holy and pure whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold her close to you forever, so that her soul may be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May she find a home with you, and may she rest in peace. Together we say, Amen.
Please be seated. Nikki's family will be observing Shiva today from 4 until 8 p.m. and tomorrow from 3 until 7 p.m. The address for Shiva is 609 Tatum Avenue in Haddon Township.